Eastman Kodak Company is happy to bring you America's favorite family, the Nelsons. Ozzie, Harriet, David, and Ricky. They enjoy good times together. And like most of us, they enjoy their good times over again in pictures. Now, let's join the Nelsons.
Fun's more fun with a camera wherever you are, you know. Fun's more fun with a camera to capture it all as you go. Take your camera along and save it in pictures.
Fun's more fun when you bring it home with you in pictures. So why don't you do as we do and take pictures of all your good times? At home or away, whether you take snapshots in black and white or color slides or your own personal movies, this very weekend will be a wonderful time to take pictures you'll always treasure.
Take your camera along and save it in pictures.
Why not get an extra roll of Kodak film tomorrow?
And now Kodak invites you to enjoy The Adventures of the Nelson Family.
Let's see, Oz, you took a 5 on the 5th, is that right?
No, I took a 4 on the 5th.
Then you took a 5 on the 4th.
I took a 4 on the 4th. It's a par 3 and I took a 4. Why didn't you keep the score while we were going around?
Well, I did, but it's kind of hard to read. I broke my pencil on the 3rd hole and I had to write with my fingernail.
Well, I have a pen you could have borrowed.
Oh, somehow I always get a bad score when I write with a pen.
Well, hi, Joe.
Oh, hi, Ralph. Say, you know Ozzie Nelson, don't you?
Oh, I don't think I've ever
Ralph
met you. How do you
Dobson.
do?
How do you do? Nice to know you.
Hey, I haven't seen you around for a while.
Well, I've been kind of busy.
Oh, you gotta get out more often. No sense killing yourself. You can't keep any of the money anyway.
No, but you know how it is. I got to keep my clients happy. Say, how about lunch tomorrow at the club?
Oh, fine. Say about 12:30?
Okay, I'll meet you there. Nice to meet you, Mr. Nelson.
Nice to meet you. He looks kind of familiar. Don't I know him from someplace?
Yeah, it's possible. When was the last time you were sued?
Oh, at least a couple of weeks ago. Why?
Well, if you ever get in any trouble, he's your man. He's one of the best attorneys in the city.
Oh, yeah, that's where I know him from. Of course, I don't figure on getting into any trouble.
You never can tell. Hey, you know, if you hadn't taken a 6 on the 13th, you'd have had a pretty good score.
I didn't take a 6 on the 13th. I took a 5.
Oz, my fingernail doesn't lie.
I don't care about your fingernail. I took a 5. I was on in 3 and I 2-putted. That adds up to 5.
You want his number?
Whose number?
Ralph Dobson's. I have a feeling we're going to end up in court.
Hey, that's great, David. Now you can take care of all my traffic tickets for me. Look, I'm just getting a job as a law clerk. In fact, I haven't even got it yet. I'm just applying for it.
How'd you hear about the job, Dave?
Oh, over at law school. There was a list posted on the bulletin board outside the dean's office.
Were there many firms listed there?
Oh, yeah, quite a few. I may sound a little optimistic, but the firm I'm trying to get a job with is one of the best in town. At least it's supposed to be.
Oh, which one is that?
Dobson and Kelly.
Hey, is that Ralph Dobson?
Yeah, I think that is his name. Why, do you know?
Well, I met him today. He's a friend of Mr. Randolph's.
Well, isn't that a coincidence?
Well, yeah. I wish I'd known about this, Dave. I could have put in a good word for you.
Oh, that's all right, Pop.
Well, it never hurts to have somebody give you a little help.
Well, I'll be glad to give you a letter of recommendation. Thanks a lot. I'd just as soon not have my career nipped in the bud. Well, if you change your mind, just let me know, bud.
Is Mr. Dobson really a good attorney?
Well, according to Joe, he's just about the best in the city. Gee, I'm so sorry I didn't know about this before. I had a perfect opportunity to talk to him.
You might see him again.
Hey, wait a minute. Joe's having lunch with him tomorrow.
Well, why don't you call Joe and ask him to put in a good word for Dave?
Well, no, I've got a better idea. Why don't I phone Joe and ask if I can join them for lunch?
Well, yeah, that's a good idea.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Oh, hi, Oz. Now, wait a minute. Don't tell me you're still complaining about that golf store.
Oh, for goodness sakes, are you kidding? As a matter of fact, I think you're right. I probably did take a 6 on the 13th.
Okay, Oz. How much do you want?
Well, I don't want anything. I just want to ask you about your friend, Mr. Dobson.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Oz. What kind of trouble you in?
No, it's nothing like that.
Well, then what is it?
Well,
What is it, Oz?
Joe, how are you?
I'm fine. What's the matter with you?
Well, it was nice of you to call me, Joe. I'll call you later.
Oz? Hello?
Joe?
Yeah, say, what's going on over there?
Well, I couldn't talk to you for a minute there. I'll tell you what I had in mind. Oh, Harriet?
Hello, Oz.
Just a second, Joe. Has Dave gone upstairs?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. Joe, look, here's the thing. When I got home today, I found out that Dave is applying for a job as clerk in Ralph Dobson's office.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, and since you're having lunch with him tomorrow, I thought that might be a good time for me to put in a word for Dave.
But you're not having lunch with him.
Well, see, that's what I wanted to ask you. Would it be all right if I joined you?
Oh, sure. I'll be glad to have you. I imagine you'll insist on picking up the check.
Yeah, I might even do that.
Now you're talking.
Look, Joe, since you know Dobson so well, maybe you could give Dave a little build-up. You know, don't lay it on too thick.
I know what you mean, Oz. Play down that he's your son and build up what a nice kid he is.
Well, no. However you want to do it.
You leave it to me, Oz.
Well, this is very important, Joe.
I know. Don't worry about it.
Well, thanks a lot. I'll meet you tomorrow at 12:30 at the men's club.
Yeah, okay, Oz. Just leave it to me.
Well, fine. So long, Joe. Well, it's all settled.
Oh, good. You know, I've got an idea. I'm quite sure Mrs. Dobson's a member of the women's club, and we're having a tea tomorrow afternoon. So if she's there, I'll make it a point to talk to her about Dave.
Oh, yeah, that's... Well, don't lay it on too thick, though.
Oh, I won't. I'll just tell her what a fine boy Dave is and play down the fact that you're his father.
May I take your orders, sir?
Oh, well, not right now, thanks. I'm expecting 2 other gentlemen.
Very well. I'll stop back later.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Mr. Dobson.
Oh, hello there. Excuse me.
If you're looking for Joe Randolph's table, this is it. I'm joining you for lunch.
Oh, well, that's fine. We met yesterday, didn't we?
That's right. I'm Ozzie Nelson. Joe should be along any minute. Won't you sit down?
Well, thank you. Have you known Joe long?
Well, yeah, I'm afraid so. We've been neighbors and friends for quite a few years. We play golf together every once in a while.
Did he ever pull that riding with his fingernail trick on you?
Well, yeah, that's an old favorite of his.
I should have played golf this morning instead of going to my office.
Why, are you working on a difficult case?
Well, in a way, a difficult case of friends and relatives. You see, I've got an opening for a law clerk, and it seems that just about everybody I know has a friend or a relative who wants the job. My phone's been ringing all morning. I'm sure glad Joe doesn't have a son who's a law student, or I'm afraid I've called off the luncheon.
Well, don't you think in some cases the father or whoever it is just trying to... there's always a possibility that the boy is capable.
Well, yes, that's true, but I kind of like to figure those things out for myself without a lot of outside pressure.
Oh, yeah, well, I see what you mean.
Do you have any sons, Mr. Nelson?
Yes, I have 2 boys. Oh, well, there's Joe. Joe, we're over here.
Oh, hi, fellas. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's all right. Sit down.
I guess it gave you two a chance to have a little talk.
Well, I'm afraid I've been doing most of the talking.
Well, when does he start?
When does who start?
It's just a little joke between us. When does he start?
Didn't you mention it to Ralph?
Yes. I told him we've been friends for years, and we play golf together.
Oh, I see. You wanted to leave it up to me. Well, Ralph, I don't often go out on a limb.
Why don't we order now, Joe?
Well, I don't like to eat while I'm talking business. Ralph.
Say, isn't that Doc Williams?
Nah, it doesn't even look like Doc.
Doc Williams, that name's familiar. Oh, yes, he called me this morning. One of his fraternity brothers has a son who wants a job as a clerk in our office.
You didn't give him the job?
No, he's been bothered all morning by people calling him.
Well, sure, I can understand. If I had a kid that was studying law, I'd be calling Ralph, too.
Well, no, these people don't seem to realize that that's not the way to get to him.
I see. Well, why don't we order?
That's a good idea.
Waiter.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
What'll you have, Dave?
You are picking up the check, aren't you, Oz?
Oh.
All right. I'll have a jumbo shrimp cocktail supreme, filet mignon with mushrooms, salad, Roquefort dressing, and pie a la mode. And some coffee. Large cup, please.
That sounds good. I think I'll have the same, please.
Could I have an aspirin, please?
Yes, sir.
Small. So naturally, when Mr. Dobson said this, I just didn't mention your name at all.
Oh, well, I'm glad you didn't anyway, Pop. If I get the job, I'd kind of like to feel that I've done it on my own.
Oh, well, I understand that, Dave. I just thought maybe I could help out a little.
Dave,
I'm in here, Mom.
I've got some wonderful news for you. Oh, hi, dear.
Hi.
I made a point of meeting Mrs. Dobson. We had a nice long talk.
Oh, what did you say, Mom?
Nothing.
I mean, did you mention me?
No, I thought I could do that when we all go out to dinner.
Wait a minute. You didn't make a date for dinner, did you?
No, I just sounded her out on the idea.
Harry, don't you realize that that's the wrong approach?
Well, I thought you said it was the right approach.
Boy, you'd realize how wrong it is if you could have been with us at lunch today.
Hi.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick. Hey, Dave, you know that guy named Bob, that friend of Wally's? Yeah? What about him? Well, I was just talking to him a little while ago, and do you know who his father is? Not Mr. Dobson. No, his name is O'Brien. He's the new pro at the golf course. He can get us 11 o'clock starting time if you want to play tomorrow. Yeah, that sounds good. Did I say something wrong?
No, on the contrary. I think you're the only one who said something right.
Don't tee off yet. These people haven't taken their second shot. Yeah, I know.
Hiya, fellas.
Hi.
I suppose we follow you.
Yes, sir. We're just waiting for these people to take their second shot. You playing alone?
No, there are two of us.
Gee, it's kind of crowded. My brother and I'd be happy to have you join us.
Oh, that'd be great if you're sure you don't mind a couple of old duffers tagging along.
Oh, no.
My name's Charlie Warren.
My name's Dave Nelson, and this is my brother Ricky.
Hi.
Hi. Aren't you Judge Warren?
Well, I am during the week, but right now you just call me Charlie.
Okay, Judge. Charlie.
That's the spirit. I get enough formality in the courtroom. Besides, it makes me feel younger. Come on, Ralph. These young fellows are going to let us play along with them.
Oh, that's fine.
This is Dave.
Star might, star bright, newest star I've seen tonight. Look, here's a camera that's built with fun in mind. It's the new Brownie Star camera by Kodak. The Brownie Star Might. Star Might, so small, so light, so easy to take along, and so easy to use. Star Might, the flash holder's built right in. It's always there when you want it. And the flash bulbs? They're a brand new kind. Tiny as a fingertip, but every bit as bright as bigger bulbs. Star Might, nothing to learn, nothing to remember. Just aim and snap for fuller fun pictures indoors or out. In color if you like, even color slides. See the Brownie Star Might camera by Kodak. It's only $10.50. And start now to enjoy all your good times over again in pictures.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. Now, I thought that was going to be perfect when you hit it.
That darn slice. Well, I'll see you on the green, Dave.
Okay. Okay. Wish I knew his last name. I just can't get myself to call him Ralph. That's what I came over to tell you. What? His name. What is it? It's Ralph Dobson. You're kidding. No, honest, there's a tag on his golf bag. Oh, this is awful. He's going to think I arranged this whole game on purpose. Well, how can he think that? They joined us. Well, I know, but I invited him. This is embarrassing. Go ahead, hit the ball. Right over in the rough with him. Lucky I could hit the ball at all. Now, I can't figure out whether to let him know I know him or act surprised when I meet him in his office. I think this is a pretty good opportunity. Just make sure you don't beat him. Who knows? If you play this right, you might wind up being a junior partner.
Dave, you're right over here by me.
Okay. You better go ahead. Your boss is calling you.
Oh, tough luck, Ralph. If Dave thinks his, it's his hole. Oh, that's too bad.
You're making it a little obvious, aren't you? Well, what could I do? He missed his.
That was a beautiful shot, Rick.
Oh, thank you.
How'd you hit him so straight and so far?
Well, I just happened to catch that one right. Gee, I used to have a terrible slice until David went to work on him.
Maybe you can help me, Dave. I seem to be slicing every ball lately, too. Now, what am I doing wrong?
You should be playing tennis.
Boy, tell me.
What for? I don't want him to improve your game, then I'll lose my favorite pigeon.
Come on, Dave, how about it?
Well, I find that when I'm slicing, I usually got my left foot back a little bit too far, and you might be taking too much backswing.
All right, I'll try it.
Hey, you lost your slice. Now, what are you going to do about that hook?
Hey, David, come here. Look at this. Look where Mr. Dobson's ball landed. Boy, that's just about unplayable. You'll never get it out of there. You stand in front of me, and I'll kick it out on the fairway. Are you kidding? Leave the ball alone. Do you want this job or don't you? Well, yeah, but not that way. You're absolutely right, David, and I'm proud of you. Maybe I could just move one of the stones a little bit. Leave the ball alone. And Mr. Dobson, your ball's over here.
Gee, that's too bad, Dave.
Well, I didn't know it was Mr. Dobson until Rick saw his name on the golf bag.
I can imagine how you must have felt.
Well, I thought at first it might be good strategy to lose to him. Then I figured I didn't want to do anything phony like that. It's going to be bad enough when he finds out who I am.
Well, you'll just have to explain to him that the whole thing was a coincidence. He'll understand.
Well, I hope so.
Who are you taking to the dance?
Well, I don't have a date. I got kind of busy and got too late to ask anybody.
Oh, well, have a good time.
Okay. At least I won't meet Mr. Dobson there.
Yeah. Well, good night, dear.
Night, Mom. Hey, Dave? Oh, hi, Z. Say, would you do me a big favor? Well, sure, if I can.
You don't have a date for tonight, do you?
No, why?
Well, my dad just called and he needs his car right away. I gotta take it home. Would you take care of my girl for a while?
Sure, it'll be a pleasure.
Come on, I'll introduce you. Norma, this is Dave Nelson.
Hiya, Dave.
He's gonna stand in for me for a while. I'll be back in about a half hour.
Okay.
Would you like to dance?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I don't believe Zeke told me your last name.
Oh, it's Dobson. That's right.
Is your father an attorney by any chance?
Well, yes, he is.
Ralph Dobson?
That's right. Do you know him?
Oh, yeah. Well, that is, I've heard of him.
Are you going to be a lawyer?
Well, I had thought about it, but I'm not quite sure.
My father's looking for a clerk in his office. Do you want me to speak to him about you?
Oh, no. That's okay. Thank you anyway.
Don't worry about it, Dave. I'm sure Mr. Dobson will understand that you didn't arrange to meet his daughter.
I know, but it's just been one thing after another. I can imagine what he's going to think when he recognizes me from the golf course. And when he finds out my name is David Nelson, I'm sure he's going to remember he had lunch with Pop.
Of course, my little talk with Mrs. Dobson won't help matters either.
Well, what you're both forgetting is that Mr. Dobson is an attorney. And as such, he realizes you don't convict somebody on circumstantial evidence alone.
Well, that's true.
Well, why don't you just plead guilty and throw yourself on the mercy of the court? You're giving me an idea, Pop.
What's that?
Well, why don't I present my case just as a lawyer would? I'll prepare a brief explaining how this whole situation was just a series of circumstances.
Well, that sounds great, Dave.
Well, yes and no. Of course, it has the advantage of letting him know you're thinking along legal lines. But on the other hand, it's hard to tell what his reaction might. I think you just have to use your own judgment.
Yeah, I've got a better idea. What's that? Well, why don't you give up the whole thing and study medicine instead? Mom, would you get Ricky a cup of arsenic, please?
What's the matter?
Dave's been at that typewriter now for about 2 hours.
Hope he's doing himself some good.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Very well, Counselor.
Call your witnesses. I only have one witness, Your Honor. Will David Nelson take the stand, please? Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Be seated. Your name, please?
David Nelson.
Speak up, please. David Nelson. You don't have to shout, young man.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, did you suggest that your father have lunch with Mr. Dobson?
No, sir.
Speak up, young man.
Yes, sir. That is, yes, sir, to you, but no, sir, to the question.
How did your father first meet Mr. Dobson?
Well, he was introduced to him by Mr. Randolph.
It was purely coincidental?
Yes, sir, purely coincidental.
When you met Mr. Dobson on the golf course, was this a prearranged meeting?
No, sir, he joined us.
Another case of coincidence. And when you met Mr. Dobson's daughter at the dance, did you know she was his daughter?
Absolutely not.
I see. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I submit that this entire case is based on a series of coincidences. And in the interest of justice, I demand that you bring in a verdict of employment. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We find the defendant, David Nelson.
Yes?
David? David?
What?
Come on, wake up. You're sleeping in my bed.
Boy, you sure picked a fine time to wake me up.
What's that? It's just a little something I prepared.
Yes, Mr. Dobson. Right away. Mr. Nelson, Mr. Dobson will see you now.
Me?
You are Mr. Nelson, aren't you?
Yes.
Come in, young man. Sit down. Dave.
Yes, sir.
Well, for goodness sakes, David Nelson. I didn't connect the name. Sit down, won't you, please?
Thank you.
Seems to me I've been running into Nelsons all week long.
Oh, really?
Yes. What was the name of that fellow I had lunch with the other day? Artie Nelson.
Ozzie.
Do you know him?
Yes, sir. He's my father.
Oh.
But that has nothing to do with this. I've got a summary here.
And how about our meeting on the golf course?
That was quite a coincidence. I wrote that in here,
Mrs. Dobson tells me your mother is a member of the Woman's Club.
Oh, yes, sir. She's been a member for a long while. It's all right here.
Weren't you dancing with my daughter the other night?
Well, only temporarily. You see, she went to the dance with a friend of mine. I put that in here, too.
Oh, well, naturally, all these things are taken into consideration when we're judging the applicant's qualifications.
Oh, I understand.
Of course, I realize that coincidences can happen. In fact, I remember when I was applying for a job as a law clerk with Mr. Delaney. I was the victim of a similar set of circumstances.
Oh, really?
Yes. First, my mother found herself sitting next to Mrs. Delaney at a church tea. And then my brother wrestled Mr. Delaney's son for the class championship and thought he'd do me a big favor by losing.
Oh, gee, that's too bad.
But the worst one of all was when my father took the sleeper to Buffalo and found himself in the lower berth with Mr. Delaney in the upper.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It was all sheer coincidence. I was a little worried. So before I went in to apply for the job, I prepared a brief stating all the facts. My father advised me not to do it. He was right. If Mr. Delaney had ever seen that brief, I probably would never have gotten the job.
Well, how did you get it?
Well, fortunately, the dean of my law school gave me a good recommendation. And that's why I'm going to give you the job.
Oh, thank you very much.
You might be interested to know that the dean of your law school gave you a very fine recommendation, too.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that.
Besides, I kind of feel like I know you. After meeting your father, playing golf with you, and you're dancing with my daughter.
I promise I'll do my best, Mr. Dobson.
That's all I ask. Being a member of the legal profession carries a great deal of responsibility. A citizen has a right to look to his lawyer for guidance, leadership, and counsel.
Yes, sir.
We hope that while you're here with us, we can impress you with the necessity of bearing that responsibility with sincerity, with honor, and with dignity. Now, about your duties.
Yes, sir.
The first thing you do when you come in is fill all the fountain pens. Then you dust all the books, check the water cooler, and bring me a cup of hot coffee with no sugar.
Yes, sir. No sugar in the coffee.
You can start in the morning. Good luck, Dave.
Thank you.
Oh, incidentally, you know the brief I was telling you about? I did get to present it.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I presented it to the wastebasket on my way out after the interview. You'll find one right outside the door.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Next week's adventure will be brought to you by our alternate sponsor, the Quaker Oats Company. Now, a word about one of their many fine products, Kennel Meal.
Does the dog in your life have a personality all his own? Does he seem to understand your moods? Is he sad when you're sad? Happy when you're happy? Does he come to you when he needs help? Does he appreciate what you do for him? Is he fond of you just because you're you? Do you feed him Kennel Meal? New concentrated Kennel Meal. When you pour on water, concentrated Kennel Meal bursts into meaty goodness. Looks like ground beef. For meat red Kennel Meal is real meat meal with meat aroma, meat flavor. Come and get it. Get protein and energy in every bite. The concentrated goodness of Kennel Meal. And what about the dog in your life? Is he as healthy and happy as you can make him? Do you feed him Kennel Meal? New concentrated Kennel Meal?
Family is brought to you on film by Eastman Kodak Company. Kodak also presents The Ed Sullivan Show on another network.
Remember Kodak's picture idea of the week. When 4th of July comes along, shoot the fun in color. Good night. 4 human beings somewhere in the world are asking you for help. They don't know you specifically. They couldn't talk with you if they did. But in the international language of human emotions, they're hoping your generosity will respond to their need. They're among millions who are hungry today and every day. Your generosity expressed with $1 to the Great Care Food Crusade can send them food for a month. The dollar from you delivers the complete package overseas in your name. Remember that hunger hurts, and join the Food Crusade Care by sending your contributions to the local care office in your city.